Fantasy football world, what is going on? Your boy Jared from Bengal Central here. I am so excited to be partnering with the Fantasy Football Network and to be kicking things off with this Week 1 recap of the Cincinnati Bengals players and who you should start and who you shouldn't in fantasy football. And to kick it off today, we're going to start off with the man, Joe Shiesty, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, obviously, in Week 1. The matchup's at home, so it's a nice matchup. There's going to be a good atmosphere in the jungle coming off of that Super Bowl run. It's going to be really exciting, and if you have Joe Burrow on your team, you're obviously going to start him. Joe Burrow played well in both games last year against the Steelers. He's going to see a lot of passing upside, especially early on in this game. And if the Steelers can make this a close game, he has top 5 upside this week against Pittsburgh. Just look for that consistency. Towards the tail end of last year, he was one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the entire National Football League. No doubt start Joe Burrow. Let's move on to the running backs. Joe Mixon, you obviously either took him in the first or second round. You're going to be starting Mixon. Mixon against the Steelers last year, it was scary. Some of his best performances came against this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and I don't expect anything other than that. I think the offense starts with Joe Mixon. He's going to see the upside. Even though there's lots of mouths to feed in this offense, Joe Mixon is going to get his touches on the ground and through the air. He is really, last year is when they started to utilize him a lot more through the air. And the Steelers, their run defense, yes, it's improved with bringing in Larry Ogunjobi. Yes, Cameron Hayward's coming back. Yes, DeMarvin Leal in the draft this year. That still doesn't scare me away. The Bengals brought in Lael Collins. They brought in Alex Kappa. They have Ted Karras at center, and Cordell Volson, 4th-round rookie out of North Dakota State, is starting at left guard. On that Bengals offensive line, there are 4 new starters. 4 out of the 5 Bengals offensive linemen who are starting Week 1 are new starters. So Joe Mixon, no doubt. As for guys like Samaje Perine and Chris Evans, the back half of that depth chart in the running back room, those are guys that, one, I don't even know if they're on rosters in leagues, but maybe the deeper leagues. Samaje Perine's on a roster, Chris Evans is on a roster. Those guys, to me, as of right now, are both unstartable. I don't think the touches are there. You know, with Perine especially, he might see a little bit of the third down work when Mixon is tired, but it's nothing to where you would start him in any really fantasy format, in my opinion. And Chris Evans being named the running back 3 on the Bengals this year, I don't think he should be rostered until otherwise. So that goes for the running back room for the Bengals. And then the receiving room, when you really have some upside, a lot of guys drafted Jamar Chase in the first round. As he should be drafted in the first round, one of the best young receivers in the game right now. Jamar Chase, it's a no-brainer. Every week, you're going to hear me say it for 17 straight games this year. Jamar Chase, no doubt start here. Pittsburgh, their cornerback room is weak. They lost Joe Hayden. They did bring in Levi Wallace from Buffalo. Levi Wallace from Buffalo. But that secondary, man, it's not going to really get the job done on Jamar. We've seen teams try to lock in on Jamar and focus on Jamar, and all that does for opposing defenses is cause more problems. You have T. Higgins, you have Tyler Boyd, and now you have someone I'm going to get to later, Hayden Hurst, who it's going to be tough. I really do not think there's any double-teaming Jamar Chase. As for T. Higgins, a lot of you guys probably drafted him within the first 5 rounds. Maybe you got him in the 6th, which would be an absolute steal. You're starting T. Higgins as well, no doubt. The targets are going to be there. He's going to see a lot of upside. He really kind of broke into himself. That when he had that stretch, that second half of the season, it was against Pittsburgh. It was all against Pittsburgh. T. Higgins, no doubt start. Tyler Boyd, in 10-man leagues, 12-man leagues, especially standard leagues, I'm not starting Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's going to be on my bench. But if you're in a 2-flex league, a 14-man 2-flex league, PPR league, I think Tyler Boyd could hit that sweet spot for you this week. I expect Tyler Boyd to catch a lot of passes. I don't know if he'll catch a touchdown pass. I don't know if he's going to go for a lot of yards. But the one thing I do know is he's going to catch a lot of footballs. And in PPR, that means points. And points is going to win you games, obviously. You guys know how fantasy works. But Tyler Boyd is definitely a sleeper. In 10, 12-man leagues, especially non-PPR or half-point PPR, I am not starting Tyler Boyd. But in those deeper leagues, those larger leagues, I think Tyler Boyd could be a sleeper in that flex spot this week, especially just because the offense is going to run through Boyd. His offense, his production is what kickstarts this offense. As for the tight end, I mentioned him a little bit earlier, Hayden Hurst. For a lot of you guys, this is a sleeper tight end. If you didn't go premium on tight end, I think Hayden Hurst really could be a great addition. He still might be out there for you guys on your waiver wires. I'd go out right now and try to pick up Hayden Hurst. I know a lot of people don't like to roster 2 tight ends, but I think especially if you're dealing with a tight end like Dawson Knox right now, who the production wasn't really there a whole lot last year and had a tough week 1, go out and pick up Hayden Hurst. You'll definitely be thanking me later. So Hayden Hurst, a guy I am huge on. I think as for this week goes, I think he's worth a start. In the deeper leagues, in the PPR formats, Hayden Hurst is definitely worth a start. 12-man. I think 10-man, it's risky. It depends who you're starting, who you have. If you have a guy like TJ Hawkinson, I'm probably leaning him a little bit more. Just because we haven't seen Hurst in this system, we're not 100% certain on Hurst yet. But if it's a 12-man, 14-man, I am starting Hurst. I think the touchdown upside is ridiculous, higher than a lot of other tight ends in football right now. So Hayden Hurst could be a sleeper for you guys right there. As for the Bengals defense, I see a lot of people who are smart and didn't draft defenses early streaming the Bengals defense this week, and I like it. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, a guy who hasn't put up a ton of points per game in his career, I like it a lot. The Bengals last year, what were they so terrific at? What made this defense great? Their ability to stop the run. The Steelers love to run. Najee is going to see a ton of carries, and I think that plays right into the Bengals game plan. Stopping the run, and I see a really nice day for the Bengals. A couple turnovers. Trey Hendrickson, who was 3rd in sacks in the last 2 seasons in all of football, is definitely going to get a couple week 1. I think Reeder, Hill, Hubbard, Joseph Osai coming back. You're definitely going to get some sack production from them, and I think you at least get 1 or 2 interceptions from them. And maybe a big play sprinkled in there. We'll see. But, that's your update for Week 1, Cincinnati Bengals Fantasy Football. Make sure you download the Fantasy Football Network app, and make sure you check out their website. Follow them on all their socials on Instagram. Appreciate you guys. This is Jared's first Week 1 recap. Thanks, guys.